newsroom of regional radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and brought to you by Connexus, providing fiber internet to Clinton. Learn more at DeWittDailyNews.com. Well, as we start this Monday morning, we are going to take a look at some of those rainfall totals from across central Illinois over the weekend. Quite a bit of rain in some parts of the area, and then just normal amounts of rain for a couple days worth of rain in other parts. So let's start here in DeWitt County and over by Farmer City, nearly 2/3 of an inch of rain in the northeast corner of DeWitt County from the weekend. Lincoln in Logan County, 2 3/4 inches of rainfall. If you go down towards Elkhart in the southwest corner of Logan County, you'll see 3 1/10 inches of rain. Again, over by Elkhart in eastern Logan County, north of Mount Pulaski, just over 2 1/10 inches of rainfall from the weekend. If you go to where Logan and Macon counties meet, just outside of Latham, 3 4/10 inches of rainfall. Just outside of Warrensburg in Macon County, nearly 3 inches of rainfall reported there. So far this morning, no reports out of Piatt County. We go to the north in Bloomington Normal in McLean County, east side of Bloomington Normal, 1 1/3 just off the highway on the southwest side of Bloomington Normal in McLean County, just over 1 1/10 inches, 1 3/10 in the northwest corner of McLean County, just north of Carlock along the highway. Let's get into Champaign County. Champaign-Urbana reports ranging between about 1/3, 4/10, even 1/2 inch of rainfall in Champaign-Urbana from the weekend. 6/10 to 2/3 of an inch of rainfall in Mahomet in the western portion of Champaign County. About 1/2 inch of rain in St. Joseph in eastern Champaign County, and about 1 inch of rain just outside of Sidney in Champaign County. 7/10 of an inch of rainfall in Rantoul in Champaign County from the weekend. Northern Moultrie County, 3 3/4 inches of rain between Hammond and Lovington, nearly 2 1/2 inches of rain in Arthur, where Douglas and Moultrie counties meet. Shelbyville, 2 3/4 inches of rainfall over the weekend. Northern Macoupin County, 2 1/2 inches of rainfall just outside of Girard. No reports as of, let's say 1 inch in Springfield over the weekend in Sangamon County. Southern Menard County, 1 8/10 inches of rain, 2 1/10 inches of rain in Petersburg from the weekend. Elsewhere, Northern Tazewell County in Washington, 2/3 of an inch of rainfall. In Peoria County on the west side of Peoria, 7/10 of an inch of rainfall reported there. Let's see, in Iroquois County, just outside of Watseka, 3 3/10 inches of rainfall. That is close to that 3 4/10 inches of rain outside of Latham over the weekend. So a lot of rainfall in central Illinois, and as always, courtesy of CocoRoz.org. That's the Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube here for this morning, you can see how interactive that map is. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can see specific rainfall totals. So very interactive. You can do a range of dates. You can just do one date. You can go back as far as you want and check out rainfall totals, but CocoRoz.org, a tremendous resource. And that is through the National Weather Service over the weekend in our local news. You heard Ed Shimon at the National Weather Service and talk about CocoRoz and what the Weather Service uses CocoRoz for. So CocoRoz.org is that location. All right, let's get into our newscast here for this Monday. Over the weekend on regional radio, DeWitt County Clerk Carrie Harris highlighted the Property Fraud Alert program. Harris reminds the PFA, as she calls it, is a free subscription that will alert you to any potential fraud involving your property in DeWitt County. She notes this is to combat the rising number of property fraud cases across the country. And all you have to do is provide the county with your name, an email, or a phone number.
So PFA stands for Property Fraud Alert, and it's a program that we have here in our office free of charge. Unfortunately, property fraud is on the rise here in all across America. Millions of Americans are losing their homes, or getting swept into like lengthy legal battles for their properties. Someone may attempt to illegally use a property for a financial gain, and this usually occurs when a fraudulent document is drawn up in someone's name in an attempt to illegally acquire their property through a sale, a home equity loan. There's other means too. It's unfortunately too easy for a criminal to record a fraudulent deed, making it appear as if they now own someone else's home. And once they have done this, then they can use this person's name as collateral on a mortgage, attempt to sell their house to an unsuspecting buyer. So, what the PFA or Property Fraud Alert program does is allows the public, DeWitt County citizens, DeWitt County property owners to log into my website and apply for free to add their name to our property fraud list. It's definitely a priority of my office. We've made conscious efforts to be on the lookout for documents that could involve deed or mortgage related frauds. So I always encourage the public. It's something I'm really pushing for people to sign up for this free program. It's real-time monitoring, notifications of any potential fraudulent activity on the name that you register.
Harris's office works with Fiddler Technologies to provide this service, and all you have to do is to sign up for the service is access the county's website, find the PFA program link, and you will be asked to provide your name and preferred method of contact.
So, like I said, it's free for the county. It's provided by my office, and I'm in works with my recording vendor, which is Fiddler Technologies. And really what someone does is they would log into DeWittCountyIL.gov, which is the county's website. Under departments, you would choose County Clerk and Recorder. And once my page comes up, then you will see a link that says protection from property and mortgage fraud. Once you click on that, the page will come up and you can either hit continue to go ahead and start your entering your name, or you can click on learn more, and there's tons of frequently asked questions on there to help people if they have extra questions. Again, they can always call my office if they need any help. But it's super simple to sign up. Again, it's free. Once you click the continue button to sign up, there's just a few things that you answer, whether your preferred language is English or Spanish, and then how you want to be notified. Do you want to be notified by email, text message, or a voice phone call? Whichever one you choose, it will ask you to enter that information. So if you enter email, you'd enter your email, and then they have you confirm it. Same for text and voice, you'd enter a phone number. You just type your first name, you confirm it. You type your last name, you confirm it. You choose if it's a personal account or if it's a business or a trust, and then you just hit submit, and you're all signed up.
Fiddler Technologies provides this service for free for utilizing them as a vendor, which is how the program comes at no cost to residents or the county itself. Harris explains registering for this service through DeWitt County will only work for property owned in DeWitt County. However, Fiddler Services owns Fiddler Services over 90 of the 102 counties in the state, so you can register for the same service in other counties.
Fiddler Technologies, my recording company, they offer this as a free service for having them as a vendor. And again, there's so many counties around the state of Illinois who, I want to say most of them actually, who are enrolled in this property fraud, this PFA alert system. And so if you own property, you may not live in DeWitt County, but if you own property here, you'd want to register in DeWitt County. If you own property, let's say next door in Logan County or Piatt County, Macon, McLean, somewhere like that, then you'd want to register on their site for their recording information. So like I said, most counties have the property fraud alert, because I do believe that Fiddler Technologies, who is my vendor, I'm pretty sure they service 95 or 98 out of the 102 counties in the state. Yeah. Of course, I do always like to say that none of the information that's provided, and it even states it on the website, it's all private. We will not sell or resell the information. We don't sell it for any use of proprietary purposes or anything like that.
While the service has been around for a few years, Harris feels it is not being advertised to the level it should be. She received a lot of positive feedback from county landowners who are utilizing the program already.
So this program actually started back, I want to say, It's been a few years back. It would have taken effect the last clerk when Dana Smith was in office.
Mm-hmm.
They did send flyers out with tax bills, I believe, for a couple of years just to let people know. But other than that, it was never really pushed until I started getting feedback from people when I brought it up, to sign up for it. Because like I said, I signed myself up. I even signed my son up, who at the time was under 18, because identity theft can happen to anybody. So I always pushed this when I took office. And as people started signing up, then they would call and say, this is awesome, that I just got something in the mail. In fact, I just dealt with somebody last week who had gotten something saying that something was recorded in their name, and they wanted to make sure that it was what they thought it was supposed to be. And it just gave them a peace of mind. Unfortunately, like, we're always talking about fraud in every aspect of life, and property fraud it's on the rise.
Harris reminds not only is this program for individuals, but you can register businesses and trusts. She recommends if you use more than one name for yourself or business, register more than once with the possible names that could be used to cover all your bases.
Not only can you register as an individual, but you can do business and trust names. So you would select that when you go to register, if it's a business and trust or if it's an individual name. And then I always suggest the alert is going to come on how you register your name. So for instance, if your name's Robert Smith, let's say, and you just enter Rob Smith, then anything just with Rob Smith is going to be sent to you. So if you go by a couple different names that could potentially be recorded, I would say to register each one of those names individually. Just, like I said, just to make sure that it's capturing anything that could potentially have your name on it in a different way. If your business name has corporation in it, you might want to register it with the word corporation, and you might want to register it again with the name just corp at the end, because they could just do a deed with corp, and it's going to match exactly how you enter in that information. So you can register as many as you want, use phone number, email, however. And if your email or phone number changes, you just get back on and re-register with your new information.
Register for property fraud for the Property Fraud Alert Program by visiting DeWittCountyIL.gov. You can also find frequently asked questions on the website. And Harris notes you can call her office at 217-935-7780. The scariest attraction of DeWitt County is looking for volunteers. Janice Peterson is the executive director of the Clinton Chamber of Commerce and reminds they are in need of volunteers for the Terror on Washington Street haunted house, noting they do their best to give back to groups that offer their time at the house.
We are doing that. We reach out to the same groups that have been with us for many years, but we have openings. We have a lot of room to put groups in. We do give back. If your group comes in and volunteers for the night, we like 15 people in our nightly groups. That makes the house full, and that makes people get what they pay for.
Mm-hmm.
So we do give back to those groups, and it's a lot of fun. We've acquired a couple new groups in the last couple of years. We have the ABATE group, and we have Guardians of the Children.
Okay.
And those guys can't wait to come back again. They have so much fun. We have the theater from the high school. We usually have those kids. Last year we had cross country, but it's a lot of fun. But we do have room, and being open 5 weekends, we are open Halloween night. I'm not sure, finding a group might be difficult. So if you're out there listening to me and you want to work on Halloween night, let us know.
Volunteers at the house are vital to its success during the 5 weekends this October for the haunted house season. Peterson explains volunteers are asked to be there for the entire night, but they can choose what role they would have.
The groups that volunteer on the nights we're open, we ask them to be there by 6 o'clock at the latest. We might even move that up to 5:30 this year to get everybody in, faces painted, costumes on, and in their spot so that we can open at 7 o'clock. I know that sounds like a lot if you're an hour and a half before that, but that's how long it takes, because we have just a few makeup artists, and if you have a lot of people that need makeup, then it takes a little bit to get it right. These guys are phenomenal, so they knock them out pretty quick. But so they would come in about 5:30, 6 o'clock. They help us choose the part they want to do.
Okay.
We explain the part, and somebody says, "Oh, I want to do that." So then we'll tell them more about what it is, and they can decide if that's what they want to do. Again, they'll get their costume on, they'll get their makeup done if needed, and then one of our house managers will take them to their spot inside the house. they are required to be there the entire night. So if we don't close until 1 a.m, then they have to be there till 1 a.m, because we
Yeah.
can't like have people leave at midnight. Last year we were out of there 11 o'clock ish, most all night. And typically since we have timed ticketing, unless something happens, our last ticket is at 10:45. So typically it won't be at 1 o'clock in the morning, like I said, unless something weird happens.
Yeah, sure.
But they are required to stay the whole time.
Mhm.
There are bathroom breaks.
Mhm.
We bring them water and a snack.
Mhm.
So there's
Yeah.
a call light in each of the rooms.
Mhm.
So if they need something, they have to go to the bathroom right now. They put their call light on, and one of the house managers is going to go relieve them.
Peterson has already begun reaching out to groups that have volunteered previously at the haunted house to gauge interest in returning. Last year, the haunted house did have to close for a lack of volunteers. She hopes the community will help them so that doesn't happen again.
The ones that we've done in the past, we've already actually talked to a couple of them. They don't have any nights done yet, but we know they're on board for this
Mhm.
year. But adding that other weekend, last year, I'm going to bring up last year just because we had glitches, and
Mhm.
we need to not have those this year.
Mhm.
We had to close a night because we didn't have any volunteers.
Mhm.
And our house managers are only 5-6 people, and it wouldn't have been a good experience for our guests, and we don't
Mhm.
want that at all. So we're encouraging, if you are hearing me and you think, oh, that might be fun for my group, or even get a group of parents together
Mhm.
and choose your dinner, Friday night dinner group. Choose your charity. Come talk to us. We're very willing. Still have to be 16 or over. Can't have anybody working in the house under the age of 16.
Gotcha.
Volunteers to help build, that's not a problem.
Mhm.
If you've got a school group of some 15, 16-year-olds, 14-year-olds, let us know, because we can do that.
If you're interested in getting involved in this year's haunted house, email the chamber at events@clintonilchamber.com or call 217-935-3364 and ask for Janice or Aaron. News time, 24 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday. We'll wrap things up coming up on the morning show.
Is the summer heat getting to you? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City, inviting you to cool down in a new Chevy. We have cool new crossovers like the Chevy Equinox, or hot new trucks like the Chevy Silverado 1500, which has up to $7,500 in extra savings over our regular discounts. See all our inventory and prices online. And don't forget, we need and would love to trade yours in. Chevrolet, together let's drive. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
News time is 25 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Monday morning. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. For your protection, Social Security is urging you to not carry your Social Security card unless it is needed. Jack Myers with Social Security says the best way to guard your card is to keep it in a safe place and share it only when required, which is rare. Many people call their office to say they lost their wallet and their Social Security card was inside it, which means more valuable vulnerable ID information was left because someone who finds or steals their wallet will then have the ID and Social Security card.
Yep, it is important to guard that card, for your protection. We urge you not to carry it around. You don't need that on a daily basis, so it shouldn't be in your purse or your wallet. You're generally going to know at the start of a day when you might need your Social Security card that day, so that's when you should take it with you. Typically, like I said, it's not going to be something you need on a daily basis, so keep it at home or in a safe place. Only pull it out when it's required, which again is going to be rare. Unfortunately, Seth, a lot of people call our offices and say that they lost their wallet, they lost their Social Security card, it was inside. And that really does set a person up to be especially vulnerable to ID theft, because in that scenario, somebody who finds or steals their wallet then has their ID, their Social Security card, potentially credit cards. So they've got a lot of stuff that can be used for identity theft.
In most cases, just knowing your social security number is enough, but even then, be careful about sharing your number. Myers encourages. If this happens to you, visit identitytheft.gov to learn more about how to spot and recover from identity theft.
Yep, it is important to guard that card, for your protection. We urge you not to carry it around. You don't need that on a daily basis, so it shouldn't be in your purse or your wallet. Um, you're generally going to know at the start of a day when you might need your social security card that day, so that's when you should take it with you. Um, Typically, like I said, it's not going to be something you need on a daily basis, so keep it at home or in a safe place. Only pull it out when it's required, which again is going to be rare. Unfortunately, Seth, a lot of people call our offices and say that they lost their wallet, they lost their social security card, it was inside. And that really does set a person up to be especially vulnerable to ID theft, because in that scenario, somebody who finds or steals their wallet then has their ID, their social security card, potentially credit cards. So they've got a lot of stuff that can be used for identity theft. If that happens to you, you can visit www.identitytheft.gov to learn more about how to spot it and how to start recovering from identity theft. You can also learn a little bit about how to proactively prevent it, because there are security or credit reporting bureaus that you can put security alerts on and freezes on. So you'd get all that information from that identitytheft.gov website. As far as when you're going to need to have the card, typically that's going to be like if you're starting a new job, maybe if you're going to be opening a bank account, the bank might need to see that. But most of the time, you're not going to need to show that card. So typically, like I said, you should not need to carry that around with you on a daily basis.
Myers notes, while knowing your social security card number is often enough, be careful about who you repeat that number to. Social security cards are free, so if you are on a website that is trying to charge you, you're in the wrong place. In addition to the importance of safeguarding your number, you should also know you're limited to 3 replacement cards in a year, and 10 in a lifetime. Legal name changes and other exceptions do not count towards those limits. News time is 29 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Monday. Coverage brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Connexus, providing fiber internet to Clinton. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news comes your way now.